You're watching Poland Daily. My name is Aleksander Wierzyński. The Constitutional Tribunal ruled that the right to pardon is an exclusive and uncontrollable power of the President of the Republic of Poland, which has final legal effect. It added that the Supreme Court was not competent to control how the President exercised the right to pardon. The case relates to the presidential pardon granted in 2015 to Mariusz Kamiński and others from the former management of the Centralne Biuro Antykorupcyjne, who had been convicted in an interim verdict.
Orzeczenie zapadło.
The decision was taken by a majority of those voting, signed and dated as appropriate following the judgment. There was a dissenting opinion from Judge Piotr Pszczółkowski and Judge Michał Warciński.
Nie ulega wątpliwości.
Undoubtedly, both the President of Poland and the Supreme Court are central state organs. On the other hand, the dispute between the tribunal and the President consists of in the Supreme Court questioning the President's constitutional power, which is right to pardon, and the Supreme Court assessment and control of the effectiveness of the pardon law, which was made in the resolution of May 31st of 2017. In the resolution, the Supreme Court indicated when the pardon law can be applied and when such an act by the President is not recognized. Such activities of the Supreme Court show the signs of the abuse of power and the encroachment of the powers of the President.
Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki is in Canada, where he met with the country's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Bilateral cooperation, including energy cooperation and military support for the embattled Ukraine, were the main topic of discussion. Morawiecki also met with Ontario Premier Doug Ford and Canadian energy officials.
Jestem tutaj w Kanadzie.
I'm in Ontario, Canada, at a site where I'm told the world's first small nuclear reactor is being built. The company is building, it is working with a Polish firm, Syntos Green Energy. The reactor will have a capacity of 300 megawatts, but what is important is that the start of the work will be in 2025, and as I have been told, the reactor will be ready in 2028, so the construction time is short. Poland and Canada are facing enormous challenges on the economic and security fronts. I'm going to have a meeting with Prime Minister Trudeau, and I'm glad that Poland and Canada are strengthening the transatlantic relationship.
The Ukrainian Air Force began a large-scale attack helicopter drill in northern Ukraine on ahead of the planned counter-offensive. Soldiers and pilots flew Soviet-designed Mi-17 and Mi-24 helicopter gunships, training to engage enemy ground targets such as infantry, military vehicles and fortifications.
Asked how prepared he is and his fellow servicemen for the counter-offensive, pilot Oleksiy, who has flown over 200 missions in the past few years, said he has been training for 9 years, starting from the Russia's annexed Crimea in 2014 and Russia-backed separatist seized territory in the eastern Ukraine. We have been training since 2014. It was complicated, but the skills we have gained since 2014 during these 8 years until the start of the full-scale war, we have been training for. Yes, we could like more help, more missiles, more helicopters, but we work with that we have now and perform our tasks. Counter-offensive, it is a complicated question. Just like for all servicemen, it is to inflict maximum destruction of the enemy and to force them to go back beyond their borders. There are various superstitions dating back to the older times. For instance, one should not shave before the flight, one should not be photographed before a flight. I believe in God. I try not to believe in the superstition, but anyhow, we try to stick with them. As a matter of fact, I shaved yesterday. His colleagues said they were ready to fight with the weapon they have, but additional deliveries from the allies in the West would increase Ukraine's chances to push Russian troops from the occupied territories. We have enough weapons, but in order to increase the enemy's losses, we need more modern weapons, various kinds. Modern guided missiles, various types and calibers, as well as high-precision guided missiles that will help hit the enemy, in particular enemy's footholds, specific targets in the battlefields. At the moment, we are able to achieve high percentage of accurate hits, but if we get modern weapons, this percentage will be higher. Major Vasil Mulik, military instructor, has a wish list. We need Apaches, we need Vipers, we need Venoms, we need Black Hawks, we need, I do not know, we need everything. We can learn to use all types of weapons we get, and we will be able to fight effectively with them. Ukraine is wrapping up preparations for the counteroffensive and it's largely ready for it to go ahead, Ukraine's Joint Forces Commander Serhiy Naveyev said. Our boys are highly motivated, ready to perform tasks. They continue their training in order to attack the enemy from the air.
On a more Orwellian note, Polish football referee Szymon Marciniak could lose his right to referee the Manchester City-Inter Milan Champions League final, all because of a denunciation by the Never Again organization who accused him of participating in an apparently fascist and homophobic event. In the end, in accordance with Marxist practice, the referee carried out of self-criticism and will take charge of the match.
Szymon Marciniak said his speech at the conference organized by Sławomir Mencen was not political and that the media coverage was inaccurate. But even so, there were fears that the sheer amount of publicity surrounding the case could deprive him of the Champions League final and put his further career in Europe at risk. Ultimately, UEFA does not want any controversy over refereeing, but they put their faith in Marciniak and trusted him to keep a cool head. I want to express my deepest apologies for my involvement and any distress or harm I may have caused. Upon reflection and further investigation, it has become evident that I was gravely misled and completely unaware of the true nature and affiliations of the event in question. I had no knowledge that it was associated with Polish extreme right movement. Had I been aware of this fact, I would have categorically declined the invitation. The message that reached UEFA was similar to the one in the foreign media, exaggerated, reduced to a meeting between Marciniak and Sławomir Mencen, one of the leaders of the Confederacja, whose views are contrary to those officially held by UEFA. UEFA still has equality on its banners. Mencen said in 2019 that his party does not want Jews, homosexuals, abortion, taxes, and the European Union. This was at the top of their minds, which is why the most senior members of UEFA and the Referees Association decided that the case was too serious not to look for another referee. Later, Marciniak explained that it was business conference and his speech was motivational, not a political sentence. He explained in detail. He showed the UEFA representatives graphics from the Everest website showing that the conference was not political, that it included the two-time Forbes 30 under 30 winner, that apart from Mencen there were no party members among the speakers, and that he himself left the conference quickly after his speech to make it to the Ekstraklasa Gala in Warsaw. The Polish arbiter disassociated himself from the views of the association in an official statement that was also sent to UEFA. The association also received a transcript of his 40-minute lecture. The referee also pointed out that he was the first referee in Poland to have an anti-racism procedure in place. This meant stopping the game and asking the public address announcer to say that any further racial abuse would lead to the game being stopped. At the time, it was Lechia Gdańsk fans who were making monkey noises when Piast Gliwice Joel Valencia was on the ball.
That's it for now. See us tomorrow.